Within the Oasis project bid, there's a lot of ways of marking up items at a line level. And to do that, what I like to do to just kind of indicate where I'm landing at price is just to click on the column, in this case level 1, and that's more of a visual reference, say, hey, that is where it's going. Then the next thing I'll do is go to Tools, Math Functions. Now notice the icon over here. It looks kind of like a chalkboard with some math scribbling on it, which is pretty much the same icon there, so Math Functions. When I click on that, I can literally make a number of decisions here real fast. One is all selected rows, basically where I have it highlighted here. Because I highlighted that column, it's going to identify level 1 and then typically where it will pull the information from. So in a lot of cases, you mark up from base to cell level 1, level 2, and so forth. It's just what we call the natural markup based on just way people typically use the system. Now, I can break any of these rules whenever. I can pull from base and do a markup to level 1 or whatever I would like to do. In this case, I'll leave it with cell price to level 1. All rows, it's actually already selected all the rows, so I can leave it that way if I choose to. Or I can hit the button in the middle that says, I only would like to take the fundamental lining items, these two, and mark them up. So it actually kind of shows you a little bit of what's going on over here behind the scenes, but really kind of secondary. Next thing I'll do is take 20 points. I want to add 20 points between cell and level 1 for this one factory. Might as well round it to 50 cents. Okay, now be careful on rounding because what Oasis does, it takes half and up. So in this case, if it's 25 cents or higher, it'll mark it up to 50 cents. If it is 25 cents or lower, it'll go ahead and mark it down to 0 and so forth for 75 cents and up and 75 cents and lower. The next thing I'd like to do is go ahead and save the macro. What it will do is show you the macro language within Oasis right here within this column. So I'll do that this time. Otherwise, if I uncheck it, it won't link these two together. It'll literally do the calculation, store it in level 1, and stop, and won't link the two together. So I'll show you what linking means here in a minute. So as soon as I hit apply, it adds this macro into those two columns, does the markup and the rounding. And what it allows me to do is if I change the price, like if I get a better price from the factory, mark it down to 13, now it'll basically recalculate that using the same rounding and update level 1. If you do not like that, either get rid of the formula or don't use that save macro concept there. To go a little bit further, what I can do to speed things up is I can click on just one cell here, either one of these, and add in 15 if I'd like and hit apply. And all that does is a quick copy, and it'll copy whatever the formula is here into that level. So if you know the Oasis macro language, it's not terribly hard. It's S for cell times 20 points, which is div 0.8, round to the 50-cent point. You kind of get used to that if you choose to. Some people try to ignore it. But the main thing here is 15 points is basically whatever the cell is, or the left-hand side, which is typically cell for level 1, and divide by 0.85. Comes up with that price there. Just another way of quickly applying this. And like I said, you can just hand key over any one of these and it'll do exactly the same thing. It'll recalculate that based on whatever you show there. So that is Math Functions within Oasis. It's just all the macro language behind the scenes. A neat little wizard or tool that we have for identifying lines or groups of lines or even factories that I'd like to mark up from one column to the next. And really anything's available as far as those math functions go.